Hello, my name is Delgermaa Chuluunbaatar and I'm an Agriculture Extension Officer here at FAO's headquarters. As an overview of this webinar, I would like to talk about some of the changes and challenges facing food and agriculture sector, and then why we need to talk about rural advisory services. Firstly, the global population is growing and it's expected to be about 9 billion by 2050. And this increased global population is causing a lot of pressure on food demand. FAO estimates that food production must increase by 60% by 2050 to meet the global food demand. But where is this food come from? Natural resources remain very scarce and limited, and land size is not increasing, and there is no more land out there to expand agriculture production. And how can we intensify agriculture production system without damaging natural resources furthermore? But then at the same time, the climate change is making the challenge even further difficult. Agriculture is very intimately linked to climate, and we contribute to 20% of greenhouse gas emission, which means we have a lot of role to play in mitigation. At the same time, we are also very vulnerable to climate change, most affected by climate change. And impact of climate change is not only about agriculture production, but it's beyond production system. It's about food price, food availability, livelihood of people, and instability in the future. So this calls for urgent need to support rural producers to adjust and adapt to climate change. So how can we do that? We cannot do this by doing business as usual. It's not an option. There is no technological fix. So what is needed is the reorientation of enabling environment to promote sustainable and more resilient agriculture system. So what does it mean? What does it include? It includes change in policies and institutions, intelligent investment and financing opportunities. It calls for incentives for collective action and cooperative efforts. We cannot continually working on silos. We need to start collaborating cross ministry, cross sectors, and cross different actors. And documentation, data information, learning and exchange is very crucial. And finally, improved infrastructure, access to credit, climate information, and other rural advisory services is very essential. Now, this brings us to rural advisory services. What is it? It is a different set of activities that provide information and services needed and demanded by farmers and other actors to assist them in developing their own technical, organizational, and managerial skills. Rural advisory services are absolutely instrumental in two levels. One, in supporting agriculture producers to adapt to climate change, and in building sustainable and more resilient agriculture system as a whole. Now let me tell you a little bit about some realities on the ground as well as some trends and demands on the other hand. In most developing countries, reality is that extension services are still publicly driven, it's still underfunded, understaffed, and capacity is very low. But on the other hand, pluralism is happening. There are much more players out there and providing services to rural producers. And we need to start working with them. We need to start working with untraditional partners. And the type of services that extension and rural advisory service providers used to give is changing. There are new services, new roles. New extensionist role is changing beyond technology transfer and information dissemination. It's going towards brokering innovation, facilitating change, mobilizing and organizing farmers, and go on, so on. Now they have to deal with new topics in new areas such as climate smart agriculture, addressing sustainability, linking to markets, nutrition, gender, etc. And this cannot be fulfilled without new skills and new capacities. So there is new sets of skills and capacities that are required by the extension service providers. This includes negotiation skills, facilitation, networking, as well as use of some modern technologies such as ICTs. So how can extension service providers deliver this, do this? We cannot expect the current agriculture extension and rural advisory service system to meet with this new demand without adequate institutional and financial support. This calls for new set of mechanisms and ways to enable rural advisory services. This could include policies that encourage pluralism, coordination mechanisms to bring actors together, incentive mechanisms to enable collaboration, enable public-private partnerships, so on. It is very essential and very urgent that we need to learn from each other in order to better understand those factors that influence rural advisory service provision and the ways to strengthen the enabling environment for rural advisory services to address climate change and other global challenges. And now I'm really looking forward to be hearing and learning about your experiences on this topic and during the discussion period, and it's very absolutely valuable to our work. And with this, thank you so much, and it's back to Maria.